I would say more of law of math. So in 2016, we have been discussing with my friend David, who is like now co-founder of Krisp, how we can like apply machine learning for some problem like in voice space. And then like he just randomly give this idea of applying noise cancellation. I got excited and like just went to my university, two of my PhD friends who were not like real AI scientists, just like people who know math and some coding. And then we started working on the problem. And after a year, we got the first prototype of the technology and a very cool demo.
Hello and welcome to Confessions of a B2B Entrepreneur. My name is Tom, your host, and today we have Arto, who is one of the co-founders of Krisp, which is a meeting assistant / voice technology that you've probably seen. Anyway, Arto is like a science guy. He's like a science and coding guy. And so this conversation is really about their strategy for building Krisp, the future of voice AI, how they've grown, his thoughts on fundraising, how they have a team both in Silicon Valley and in Armenia. So if you're building a deep tech company or want to learn how to build companies with maybe a development team elsewhere to Silicon Valley or the UK, then check out this episode. If you like a show like this, go to fame.so, request a proposal. Now let's jump into this episode with Arto now. This episode is sponsored by MailTrap, an email delivery platform designed for product companies. Go for high deliverability, growth-focused features, and industry-best analytics. Get 20% off for all plans with our promo code B2B Entrepreneur. Check the details in the description below. Arto, welcome to the show.
For inviting me.
So I want to go back quite a few years because I know there was a company before Krisp, and I want to dig into that. And we'll get to Krisp, and we'll get to AI, we'll get to all that sexy stuff. But it was 10Web, I believe, was the name.
Actually, there was another company called WebDorado before 10Web and Krisp, and it was WordPress plugins company. So we have been building and selling WordPress plugins for WordPress website owners.
And when did you start that?
2011.
And what were you doing before that?
I was doing PhD in math. Yeah. So I was doing like technology business and academic career in parallel. I even at some point I was considering to become a scientist. I'm the real scientist. I work in the academia and so on. But like later I decided to move to the technology sector.
Makes sense. And were you the person actually coding the plugins?
I was contributing. I was not like the main developer, but I was contributing both on the product side and on the coding.
Got it. And can you just give us an example of a plugin so we have a good idea?
Yes. The most popular plugin was, we called it gallery plugin. So basically you upload your photos to WordPress. And then with our plugin, you can publish like different views of photos. Like think about like mosaic, masonry, or like Instagram feed, any type of photo feed that you can imagine, you can create with our plugin. So that was the idea. And it went viral. So at some point, I believe we had around like $3-4 million downloads of the single plugin without like any marketing.
And I assume you had a premium offering that you could charge a subscription for.
Yeah, so some of the views we just like closed in the free version, and users needed to upgrade to get access to the like better looking versions.
And how many plugins did you have that like got a decent amount of downloads?
That was our champion. We also have like another plugin with 1 million plus downloads, and like 20 other plugins with tens of thousands of downloads. So we didn't have like any real marketing skills back then. So our idea was simple: just build a plugin, publish on WordPress App Store, WordPress repository, and just wait when people will go after it. And obviously, with that approach, it was like not very wise. And eventually, 18 out of 20 plugins that we built basically failed those products.
So, because what I'm trying to do is like trying to work out like how part of this part of the interview is like, how do we get to build something as awesome as Krisp? And it seems like, I don't know if you had the same co-founders in WebDorado, Web10 and Krisp, but it seems like you guys did a lot of coding for the last 15 years. Do you think that has impacted the success of Krisp?
I would say more of law of math. So in 2016, we have been discussing with my friend David, who is now co-founder of Krisp, how we can apply machine learning for some problem in voice space. And then he just randomly give this idea of applying noise cancellation on audio calls. I got excited and just went to my university, hired two of my PhD friends who were not real AI scientists, just people who know math and some coding. And then we started working on the problem. And after a year, we got the first prototype of the technology and a very cool demo. So it was an Android app. Just basically speak to the phone, to get the recording, and during the recording you can clap or make some noise. And after you get a cleaned up version of the recording. And it was a wow moment back then, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. And David got excited. A lot of our friends got excited. We got our visit funding. David quitted his job at Twilio, and we started company. We were very geeky name. The name was 2 Hertz. We decided to give some name that scientists will appreciate. But basically we had a technology, but we didn't have an idea how we're going to sell it, we're going to market it. So we decided to license the technology to big companies like Zoom, other companies and so on. But it took very long time because those companies need some decision-making process. The technology was not that mature and so on. So we decided to be a demo app for Windows and Mac and just publish it just for free, the demo. And the app got viral in 2018 on Product Hunt and then on Hacker News. So we decided to build also consumer business. It was again super hard to promote the app, or again we lacked marketing skills maybe. And the main game-changing moment happened in 2020. The COVID started. Everybody started working from home and needed this noise cancellation solution. And that started to go viral, real viral. We got a lot of awards from Times, Forbes, many publications. We got our Series A funding, around $15 million. And also we started to get a lot of enterprise customers. And at that time we realized that actually the biggest pain, not in the consumer space, but in the B2B, call centers, success teams, the people who are doing tons of calls all the day, right? So company started to grow. But in 2023, we realized that the growth stagnated because we just had this one small feature, one small technology, and the market was not enough big. And also big companies started to roll out similar technologies built in the platforms. So Zoom already has noise cancellation, Teams, Meet, all the big players. So we decided to go and build more technologies. And in the last 2-3 years, we built, 3 new groundbreaking technologies and several different products. So it was a big pivot just for one single feature company to multi-product company.
And so what do you think you learned from the first 2 businesses that made Krisp go better?
A few things. So technology mode is important. When you have a technology, you can attract funding, people, eventually customers and some revenue. But at some point, technology becomes commodity. So you need to have a really long-term strategy. How do you build on top of the existing like motive that you have, and graduate from like a single feature, single technology company to a big one. And the same is happening to the ChatGPT. So we started from like this small chat interface 3 years ago, and now we have 200 different features in the product and also different technologies. The same applies, I think, for any technology startup. So it's cool that you build something important and something new, something innovative, but you need to have like a long-term plan how you make it long-lasting.
Got it. And so that really, since the initial feature you say got slightly commoditized around 2021 or two, you guys have like reinvested in the product to build out more of a suite than just this one feature. I want to transition now into your theory or your opinions about fundraising, because I think you guys with Krisp have raised a significant amount of money, and that's enabled you to go on this journey. So first, can you just share like the fundraising history of Krisp, and then let's dig into whether you think that's necessary for other B2B companies.
Yeah, I can share the journey, but I want to emphasize that things like 8 years ago are very different than they are now, because many things are changed. So initially we got a pre-seed funding of $500K in 2017.
And that was after, sorry to jump in, that was after you had the first demo, right?
Yeah, so for the first demo, it was like me and just like 2 other people. And we just like co-founders paid all the salaries, and we didn't, just from our savings. But then after we got the first demo, we were able to raise this pre-seed funding. And then after we got some traction, we raised our like seed round. It was like we used 2 tranches, 1.5 and another 1.5. And then after we hit a couple of $1 million, we were able to raise our Series A, which was like around $14 million in 2020. So it depends on the tech, on the company type. If you're like deep tech and you need fast to basically fund your R&D, there is no other way. You need external funding. But like today, especially in the AI space, in SaaS space, you can build like many things by yourself and with very, very limited resources. So I believe like today, the funding for many companies is not that needed as entrepreneurs think. It's the same applies for Krisp. So we didn't raise in the last 5 years, but the company grew significantly, both like in number of products, revenue, people. Like it's a very different company. Maybe at some stage we'll consider like another round of fundraising. But right now, we are cash positive. We see how can we fund all our efforts, both on like a go-to-market side and product side and technology side. So we keep investing our earnings into new bets, new technologies. But again, like it's very you need to have like a very strong answer why you do need external funding before you go after it. Or like what I have seen in last couple of years working with many other entrepreneurs, people just think that that's the goal of the business, like raising money. But that's not the case. You need to solve the customer pain. If you do so, the money from the customer is the most important thing in the business. And the funding is like additional temporary injection to the business to cover the expenses that you can't cover with the customer money at some point.
I agree. But do you not have pressure from the Series A investors to like raise more and grow faster? Or did you choose good investors?
We do have pressure because for the investors, one thing which is matter is grow, right? They want to see revenue multipliers. They want to see new investors and new rounds and appreciation of their stock and so on. But like structurally, the company is on its way to grow, for growth. We have been growing like moderately for last 3 years, but now this year growth starts to accelerate it. And at some point, again, like we can consider the fundraising. But there was no need, let's say 2 years ago, to raise like another round of money, because we have our internal resources for funding our projects, and we didn't have like a good reason to fundraise. And our investors basically, all of them basically agreed on the strategy, and we're very patient and supportive during all this journey. Before we get to the point that we really are ready for next fundraising.
So you're saying that you chose good investors. You can't say anything. You can't say no there because they might be listening,
Yeah, I mean, all of them are super supportive. Almost like all of them are board observers, and the partner at Sierra BNU is also our board member, and we always have been doing their best to provide good advice, direction, feedback, and share like their network connections to us. So I think they're like really good investors.
And in terms of being cash flow positive, presumably you're like all of that money is being invested back into the business. Like you and the investors are not taking money out, cool, to speed up growth, to in theory either be more profitable or to sell one day, I guess. Cool, makes sense. Let's now switch to the operating model, the resourcing of the team, which I think is quite interesting. And I think you have thought here because you guys have an office in Silicon Valley, but you also have a chunk of the team in Armenia. Where did you, I assume you guys started the company from Armenia, maybe I'm wrong. But where did you start, and how, like, what types of people do you have in different areas, and why did you choose to have teams in those two places?
Sure. So my co-founder has been working in Valley back then, and I was working in Armenia. So when we started the company, the idea was to basically use the talent that we have in Armenia to build the technology and the product. And at some point, we realized that we need to have go-to-market people in US, like for many reasons, because of culture nuances, because of just market knowledge, the customer knowledge, because of network and so on. So right now we have the following split, like around 20 people in US and another 130 people in Armenia. So people in Armenia are mainly in performance marketing, product management, engineering, research, all the like jobs. And then our sales, customer success, and product marketing are based like in US. And both David and I are back and forth between Armenia and US. But not only us, also like team members travel from one location to the other location many times in a year. And I think it's a good setup for many reasons. First, basically we get the best of two employee markets. So we have very talented UTM people in the US and very talented engineers in Armenia. Let's say if we try to hire an engineer in Silicon Valley, you need to compete, with Google, OpenAI, and all those big names. Like in Armenia, we are one of the most respected engineering companies here, right? So it's relatively easy to attract most talented people here. And then like cost-wise, salaries in Armenia probably are 1/3 of Silicon Valley. So it's like another advantage of building the company in this structure.
I get the benefits like talent, cost, but then one potential downside is like culture between the two locations and being able to build like a good team. Like, what are you doing to ensure that the team is cohesive?
That's a great question. So, a couple of things. First, we are over communicating. So all our channels in Slack are public. We are sharing all the information very transparently across all the team members. We created an environment when team in US works very closely with the team in Armenia. So it's basically not two different teams, but more like a very integrated organism. And then on the human people level, we organize a lot of events, mainly in Armenia, a few times also in the US, where all the team members get together and just party, talk to each other, become friends, spend some time together, and so on. I think the biggest obstacle there is the time zone, because let's say if you have someone in Seattle, it's like 12 hours difference from Armenia. But like, good thing that in Armenia, in tech sector, people start working at like 10 a.m. Till like 8, 9. And then in West Coast US, people start like from 6 a.m. So it's basically 3-4 hours overlap between the work times of both teams. So I was like, one thing that we never can change is time zone. Otherwise, it's like pretty good setup.
Makes sense. What's your day-to-day like at the moment? Like today, for example, what are your priorities?
So as I shared, we have multiple products in the business, multiple business lines, 3 business lines. I'm leading meeting assistant business line. So basically, I try to coordinate the work between product engineering, marketing, sales, and lead the teams and align the teams around the vision and around also the short-term goals. That's like primary like work. How do I do that? It's like very hands-on, engaged work with engineers, designers, product managers, marketers. So I basically spent almost all my time either creating something by myself or just like closely working with individual contributors on some projects. And I really believe that like the best way in leadership in tech is hands-on leadership, and you are basically part of the team, and you just contribute as much as you can to the hardest problems that exist in the company.
So does that mean you're actually like writing code?
Except writing the code, I'm reading the code, testing out new features, writing document requirements, product requirements, reviewing designs. Sometimes I try also to make designs myself, but I'm not that talented, so usually it's trash. but again, it gives some direction and inspiration to people to build on top of it.
I agree. Like, I feel like some leaders, when they get so far away from the detail, they almost lose a bit of respect from the team, because the team don't really see like you're not like useful, or they don't see how skilled you are. Whereas if you're in there like reading a developer's code, they're probably like, wow, this guy, he is the real deal. He should be the leader. So I think that's a really good insight for people to take away. It's like, try and get involved. Obviously not if you're rubbish at designing. Let's shift now. I know you have some very interesting thoughts about the future of voice AI, where you think it's going in the coming years. I'd love to hear your like pie in the sky theories on what's going to happen to what voice can do, or what AI can do for voice.
It's a great question. So like, I have a very simple mental model there. There are like 2 types of voice communications, basically. One is human to human voice communication, and the second, human to computer. Obviously now we start also seeing computer to computer communication with voice, but it's like less, because computers can interact also using, let's say, APIs and other methods, right? So for human to human communication, one thing that I have been seeing like for last couple of years, that people appreciate more like on-device solutions because of the privacy concerns, because of getting the voice AI solutions on device gives them so much flexibility and control compared to the cloud solution. This is like one trend that I clearly can see, and Krisp like is very, very well positioned to provide with all device solutions. And also from the company's perspective, on device solutions make things much cheaper, right? Because you don't have the cloud cost, and you can have very, very high gross margins. And all big guys are building like models for on device. Let's say both like Apple, Google, and others have transcription services which are running on Mac computers, on iOS devices, and so on. The other thing that I've seen in human-to-human voice AI, that people want to get more productivity out of the voice. So we basically want to get insights from the conversations. It could be some coaching for salespeople. It could be some automation of let's say, meeting notes. It could be some recording and so on. So people understand that like voice is one of the main, actually is the primary way of communication between the humans. So we want like to get maximum of the conversations. On the human to computer level, I'm super excited what ChatGPT and Grok and others brought in the last 2 years. How human got this AI assistant that you can talk to. It's like super impressive. But it still lacks a lot of important features, like human features. Sometimes it doesn't understand and interrupts you. Sometimes it lacks emotions and so on. But I think in, let's say, in 5 years, we'll have human level talking voice AI bot, which would be revolutionary in many industries, starting like from call centers to just having your therapist in your pocket and just talking whenever you want, right? The copy of your therapist in a therapist. So it's like very exciting what's happening there. And I'm also super proud that Krisp now is powering most of this like voice AI companies with our solutions. So besides being a consumer and enterprise SaaS company, we also license our technologies to many players in the industry. And now we got like around 100 plus different voice AI companies who are using Krisp technologies to make their conversations and make their technologies much better.
Very nice. I think I saw a Google demo where they were able to translate live on a video call. Is that actually a thing now? Or there was a Google demo where one person was speaking in a different language, the other person was speaking in English, and then they did a live translation like through the video call. Is that for real?
Yes, it's real. I would say more. We also developed a similar technology inside our application and already deployed for some of our customers. And now some agents are using the technology inside the call centers.
Got it. So it's already happening.
Yeah, it's happening. The problem there is latency and the cost. So right now, the cost of live translation is around like $5-7 per hour, which is like pretty expensive, right? Because you can hire like a human translator, a human interpreter with a comparable price. And the second is the latency. So it comes with, depending on the use case, from like 5 seconds to 20 seconds latency, because the computer need to hear the whole sentence before it can translate from one language to other.
It's been a big journey, right? Hasn't it? Since the viral WordPress plugins to live translation on calls. I think the big insight for me was maybe you're one. Well, I think what you've done regarding the 2 different locations, like go-to-market in Silicon Valley, engineering and other roles in Armenia, makes a lot of sense. But the other thing with your leadership style, like going like right down into the detail to like, I guess, move things forward, but also build trust in the team. I think those are the 2 big insights for me. Arto, where can we find you? We'll link to Krisp below. Obviously, we'll link to your LinkedIn profile. Anything else we should mention?
I think I'm trying to be very active on LinkedIn. So I think it was the best platform to reach out.
Nice. Okay, we'll link to your LinkedIn below. Arto, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Tom, for hosting me.
And thank you very much, team. Arto, awesome guy, great story. Love the Krisp product and love the Krisp experience. So thank you to Arto coming on. As I said, I think that leadership thing is key, like getting into the detail to get respect from the team is crucial. So let's give a thanks to Arto for coming on. Let's give a thanks to Fame for producing the show. And of course, thanks to you for listening.